Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I am Alex, and I am here bringing you the latest and greatest news around Manchester United Football Club. I hope you're all well. Make sure you get in the comments. Make sure you're getting your questions in. But we've got loads to get through. We've got Jadon Sancho's story to get through, Paul Pogba, and also talking about Marcus Rashford, who has been talking about all his injuries, everything's been going on the last year or so. And how good he is as well. He's also mentioned how good he is. Hope you are all well. Like I said, get your comments in. I will get to them later. But let's kick off straight away with the Jadon Sancho news. And this comes from a BBC journalist last night who, Howard Nurse, was asked, when do you expect the Sancho deal to be finalised? And he said, quite soon. This might depend on how long England stay in Euro 2021 for things like a medical, but the clubs should reach an agreement prior to that. Now, the thing with Manchester United is, because of all this New York Stock Exchange stuff that we have to announce things that are going to change that share price straight away. So if Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund agree that we're going to get Jadon Sancho, agree that fee, get all that stuff done, they have to announce him. It's not like it used to be where they could keep it quiet, keep it done, do all the media work and all that kind of stuff, and then go, look, here's Jadon Sancho, he's had a medical and all that. They have to let that news done. They have to get it out there straight away. But as Howard Nurse is saying there, the medical itself may have to wait until after the Euros. Now, a lot of people saying, we have Fabrizio Romano, and we've had a few different journalists saying that this might be concluded in the next few days with this break in England. England's got 6 days in between them playing their games. So I do think that the news about Jadon Sancho, I think, will progress in the next 6 or 7 days before England play Germany. So it's looking like he might get done, but like Howard Nurse says, the medical and things like that, and when we actually see Jadon Sancho holding up a shirt, being at Old Trafford, doing all that kind of stuff, doing all the media stuff, that may have to wait until after England are done with the Euros, which we're playing Germany this week, so that might be done a lot quicker than everyone thinks. So the medical might not be done in this next few days. A few people were saying because he's still based in the UK, because he's still based in England, he might be able to get it done at St George's Park, get all that kind of stuff done. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to have to wait until England are out of the Euros, all done. Like I said, it's one of those. We've got Germany this week, a very, very tough game. But if one of them, if England somehow manage to get through that, this may drag on. This may go through the next month. And you may not see Jadon Sancho, medical done and fully completed until a long, long time away. But I do believe there might be something announced in the next few days. Obviously, like I said, New York Stock Exchange stuff, United can't keep these things quiet. If they do agree the fee, if it is all signed and dated, they will have to announce something on their website. They'll have to say that that is done. A few people in the comments talking about Jack Grealish to Manchester City. I did see that news this morning. It's one of the reasons why I've been saying how quiet I am around how good Jack Grealish is. I fancy him to go to Manchester City. That's going to be a sad one to see him in a blue shirt. But hopefully that one doesn't go through. But like I said, Jadon Sancho news. It will be after the Euros that Jadon Sancho gets his medical done. Moving on from that, we've got Paul Pogba. And now this came out from Sky yesterday. They have said that a number of clubs are still interested in Paul Pogba. But as it stands, United have received no official bids. That was Sky Sports yesterday. Now, again, we had Fabrizio Romano on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast. That was with Joe Smith and Jay Motti last week. They were talking about Paul Pogba and what the deal is with his contract. Nothing, I said, has been done yet. People also, I'm also saying that some of these clubs around, Juventus, Madrids, those kind of clubs are thinking they could maybe get Paul Pogba on a cheap deal because he's going into his last year of his contract. Could they get him for 40 million? Manchester United aren't entertaining any of those bids whatsoever. They are going to hold out for the fee that Paul Pogba deserves. He's a £100 million player plus. He is easily or potentially been the best player of Euro 2021, 2020, whatever you want to call it so far. Easily the best player there. He's showing his worth. He's showing how good he is. You can't let that kind of player go for 40, 50 million. And strangely for Manchester United, it doesn't seem like they're looking to cash in. It doesn't look like they're trying to just get the easy sale and move him on. They are holding out to whether they give him a new contract, whether they give him that, or whether they have to risk it. He goes into his last year of his contract, not signing anything, and he could potentially leave on the free next summer. Now, I'd be really disappointed if we do end up seeing Paul Pogba go on a free, but also it would be good to see the club saying things like, do you know what, we don't need to get the cash in. We are better having a Paul Pogba that we know is going to play next season rather than shipping him off for this, cashing in, getting the 30, 40, 50 million for him this summer. Better to hold off till next summer and sell him and getting rid of him free. But whether that happens or not, I'm still hoping that Paul Pogba signs a new deal for Manchester United. He's been fantastic in the Euros so far this year. Like I said, one of the best players and showing how good he can be. Seeing a stat the other day that they played 30 games where Kante and Paul Pogba have started together for France and they've not lost any of them. Just shows getting the right players around people makes things work. Fred starting from Brazil and playing well. That's how mad having different systems and getting the right team around them can change things. But a few people in the comment, Paul Pogba on a free would be humiliating. Look, these things may happen. These things are going to happen. You've seen Raiola, what he does with his clients. He tends to try and get a good transfer fee for them. He tends to try and get that kickback. But at the same time, he's also done it with Donnarumma this summer, where he has kept him there at AC Milan, not signing a new contract, and he has gone on a free to Paris Saint-Germain, and he's made sure that he got a wedge out of it. It wouldn't be surprising to see Paul Pogba go on a free next summer in terms of the agent. The only thing that would be surprising is if Manchester United do it and not try and cash in on getting it to get some new players. We've seen what's happened before, but at the same, we've seen what happened before where Manchester United had to sell players to get players in. But it would maybe show a change in things if we hold on to Paul Pogba and say, do you know what? No, stick to our guns and do all that. I'm not too sure. Let's see how that one develops in the next 12 months. Let's have a quick look at some of your comments around that one. We can't compete if City sign Grealish and Kane. Look, I think Manchester City have got a fantastic squad as it is. I think they showed that last year. They have got a squad clear of everyone else. The fact that they've got two players in every single position. If they sign Grealish and Kane, it's a ridiculous squad. Let's admit it. They've lost, obviously, Sergio Aguero this summer. Whether someone else goes as well, it's looking like to get Kane, they're going to have to let someone else go. I think Stephen Howson said this a lot. I think the only way that you kind of take anything out of that is maybe things upset the apple cart a little bit. Maybe it doesn't quite work straight away. Jack Grealish likes a lot of touches on the ball. That's not how Pep Guardiola plays football. For as much as a fantastic footballer, he'd need to do a very, very different job to what he does at Aston Villa at the minute. It's not always getting the ball. It's keeping in your position and letting do things like that. Hopefully, if they do sign Grealish and Kane, it just kind of upsets things a little bit. Maybe De Bruyne doesn't quite have the game time, doesn't spits his dummy out a little bit. Maybe Bernardo Silva has to go. Maybe something happens. But they've got a fantastic squad. And the only way Manchester United can compete with that and can catch that is by doing a long-term project, by being patient, by signing a couple of players every single year and keeping on building. It is not going to happen overnight. United aren't going to do one summer and all of a sudden have a better squad than Manchester City. It needs to be a patient process. It needs to take some time. And we can't just do it overnight. It's not going to happen this summer. We aren't going to automatically have a better squad than Manchester City this summer. Hopefully, if we keep signing a couple of players every single year, keep building, we will be better than them in a few years' time. Now, the next story and final story I'm going to talk about today, before I get more into your comments, so make sure you're getting those questions in, is all around Marcus Rashford. Now, we've reported on this the entire way through and said that Marcus Rashford hasn't looked fit. He isn't fit. He's got a bad shoulder. He's got a bad ankle and all these things. He's been speaking to Telefootball, talking about those injuries and what's affected him. He spoke about his shoulder. He said it's either an operation or I don't get an operation. I'm not 100% sure if I need it yet, so I'll just take it as it comes. I'll finish strong here, talking about the Euros, and I've got a few weeks off just to relax and decide what I'm going to do. Marcus Rashford also said, the doctors have not said yet how long he'll be out. I know there would be a chance I was going to get in the operation when the season started, so I did not know how long the operation would put me out for. He then goes on to say, I'm not performing at my best, and what I know I can perform to. Whatever that is down to, it doesn't really matter because it has been going on early in the season. He said, I managed to get through the season with Manchester United. I think I had 36 goal involvements. He knows his stats. It was definitely 36 goal involvements. So I can't look back at the year and say, should I have taken that time off? I just wanted to be available for every single game. He's then gone on and said, I don't think that it's a secret that I've been hampered by injury. I think it's quite well known to this stage where I am now. It was a massive aim at the beginning of the season. I'm prepared for it mentally and physically. So Marcus Rashford there talking all about his injuries, saying that he's obviously admitting that he's been struggling and this has been something that's happened all season, and he's made the decision that he was going to play and push through it. Now, we've obviously been talking about Jadon Sancho coming in for a long time now, and I think that maybe Ollie, in the same time, hasn't been able to afford the fact to say, go on, Marcus, go and get that operation, go and take some time off, because he's just not had the players. You know, last season, we looked a little bit weak up top. We looked like we didn't have many options. We had Marcus Rashford playing. We had Cavani playing a lot of games. He dropped out a lot of the time. You had Martial, who didn't hit the heights of the season before and also had an injury. You've also got the likes of Dan James, which I know a lot of people's opinions are he's not quite Manchester United level and is much more of a squad player. You also have Mason Greenwood, who obviously struggled a little bit at the start of last season. To let Marcus Rashford go, or to take him out of the team for 2 or 3 months or whatever it would take for him to recover, maybe Ollie just thought, I can't do that. I can't afford that. And even a 60, 70% Marcus Rashford is better to be able to rotate in, to play on the right, to play on the left, whatever it needed to be. A 67% Marcus Rashford is that. Now, bringing in someone like a Jadon Sancho, who we've also cried out for to play on the right-hand side, but can also play on the left and has done for Dortmund, may give the time for Marcus Rashford to get a break, to get his shoulder sorted, to get his ankle sorted, whatever he needs to get done. And at the start of next season, maybe we're without Marcus Rashford, but I think with Sancho, Cavani, Martial, Greenwood, Dan James, Diallo, we've got enough options there where we don't have to rely on Marcus Rashford for at least a month or two so he can get himself back fit. So those Marcus Rashford stories are coming out. I just want him to get better. I want him to take the time away and hopefully come back fit towards the end of next season. I'd love to see him get those operations and become fit. We can't have a Marcus Rashford at 67%. We can't have him burning out, and we can't have him get to the point he is this season. There's a lot of people saying as well how he's not hit the heights of the season before. He's not looked good enough, and people saying drop him, get rid of him. Marcus Rashford needs a break. Marcus Rashford needs those operations, and I'm hoping that he gets them early on. Right, let's have a quick look at some of your comments this morning. Vinay saying, though he's not starting for England, he might still be training. That is not the rest he really needs. I completely agree. He needs a proper rest. He needs to actually be taken out. I think he actually needs the operations. I think he's kind of hinted to that there. Let's have a look what else we've got. We need to rotate the squad a lot better next season. One way of doing this is not starting the game so slowly. I completely agree, but at the same time, we need to have the players to be able to do that. We need to have the signings to do that. I think that's what Ollie was kind of thinking last season. Look, we've got a Diallo who's not really going to play. We've got, he's not even going to be in the squad until after Christmas, and he's still very, very young. He's now grown into it a little bit. Maybe he'll get some more games and be able to get rested, and I'm hoping that is the case. Best bit of business, DJ saying Greenwood having the summer off. I completely agree. Fantastic to see Greenwood probably making the right decision right now. I've seen a lot of people saying, look, you've got Marcus Rashford who's playing not a lot of games for England. You've got Jadon Sancho who isn't playing for England right now. He is being rested. And the best thing that Mason Greenwood's done is saying, look, I'm not fit. I'm not going to play. There's no point in me being here and training every day to play 5 or 6 minutes. Right, guys, I'm going to quickly recap. Jadon Sancho with his medical has been delayed. This is all down to where England are in the Euros. We may get an announcement that Jadon Sancho is a Manchester United player before he gets his medical all done and dusted, but his medical is looking likely to be done after England get knocked out of Euro 2021, which could be as early as Tuesday as we are playing Germany. Right, guys, we've got all sorts coming up on the channel. We'll have Howson's Brew later on. Jay Motti is going to be speaking to the guys at Must. You may have seen that news as well. He's going to be speaking to the guys at Must about this new share scheme that Eric Cantona is talking about and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you are liking this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit notification bell for all that stuff coming out. I have been Alex. This has been the news, and I'll see you next time.